was today and was not going to make any videos. I thought it was Friday for some reason. And then I had this realization about 5 minutes ago that it's actually Saturday today, and if I didn't make a video, I wouldn't have a video for Garden Tour Saturday. So here I am, in my backyard, not prepared to make a video, so I decided to do it live because I don't have to edit it if it's live. As much as I love video editing, I don't really have a lot of time tonight, so we're gonna just do this live. I also have not watered my garden, and that is what I'm doing right now. This is the back flower garden. I really actually have to water the entire garden. I don't know if that's gonna happen tonight because it's already, oh, it's not 7, it's 6:33. I thought it was 7, but it's good. It usually takes me about 2 hours to do all the watering. So I thought I would just start watering and show you some of my plants as we go along in the backyard. We may or may not hit the front yard. I'm not sure yet. So, I'll give you a little view of what I'm calling the flower garden in this backyard. I've got my hose. I don't think I need to adjust the tripod, I think. Hold on. Got my water going as I'm spraying myself. I don't think you can see it. Let's adjust it. Good day, Arlene. 9:33 in the US, so we're in different time zones. What part of the US are you from? Is that a good view? Maybe we'll go just a little bit lower, see how many plants we can get in the picture. So I'm just watering with a standard hose and I guess you call it a nozzle of some sort. I do have a rain barrel that maybe we'll check it out a little later just for something interesting. I haven't actually used it yet, but there is water in there. So I think I'll just do a little watering and then I'll stop and show you some plants. And then, oh nice, I will continue my watering because I'm going to try to get around the whole garden. So, just going to turn this around. I've got shadow magic happening. This is a garden I completely gave a makeover to this past, let's say, fall, winter, going into early spring. A 9,000 square foot property that is almost completely made over. And there are blueberry bushes here. This is a little tiny blueberry bush that I got on clearance in the winter, and it's just about leafed out. I think it was about $3, which is crazy. And right beside it, I have planted strawberries. So what is really interesting and unique about the soil and mulch in this area is that it's not just soil and mulch. See, I didn't bring any gloves, but underneath all this, see if I can show you, there is actually unaged horse manure. See if I can dig deep where you can see it if it still hasn't fermented. And cardboard. So this was all grass. This entire property was just grass and weeds and kind of an ugly mess when I bought it. And so some of the grass was dug out, and in other areas I put sheets of cardboard and then put unaged horse manure, fresh from a horse farm, on top of it. And I think that it has provided some amazing nutrition for these plants. Seeing if it's starting to break down, and same with the cardboard, so I'm looking for areas where maybe there's still manure left to show you, if I can find any. I think here we go. So this manure was put in early December, I want to say. I was digging in ice cold weather, and it's mostly broken down. You can see remnants of it there. But I have a feeling putting berry bushes into horse manure is going to have pretty amazing results. I mean, I don't know yet, but I just have a feeling. Just gonna cover that back up. here I have a little baby sedum plant. These were some were from my last property and some were from my parents' garden. They gave me a lot of plants when I moved. And this here is arbrecia. I'm probably saying it wrong. This is a little ground cover. Gets these beautiful purple flowers. There's another one over here. And it also comes in different colors. This is a pink version. Actually, it's called red, but it looks pink. And over here we have seaside daisies. I did a whole video about this perennial because it was very inspiring to me. I love ocean and water themed things and mermaids, and I just had to buy this when I saw it. This is actually an evergreen daisy, which is super cool. I've never seen an evergreen like that before. What are some unique plants that are good for the Vancouver climate? Great question. So are we talking food or flowers or shrubs or trees? I mean, there's so many different options. Kind of depends what you're looking for. If you have some general ideas, I could probably give you some suggestions, but I need a little more feedback on what you're looking for. There's things like goji berries. You can grow kiwi fruit here. I'm assuming anything you can grow on Vancouver Island, you can probably grow in Vancouver too. I've never lived in Vancouver, but it's pretty similar, I would think, to Vancouver Island. I don't know if we're talking about fruit trees or flowers. There could be lots of different items that we could talk about. I'm going to turn around and show you how my raspberries, loganberries, and my pansies are doing in those little metallic containers that I have growing. So I'm trying to water as we go. This is where I planted some raspberries. So if you're planting raspberries in a smaller size garden, probably a better idea to put them in a contained bed situation, whether it's metal or wood. I did the raspberries in the ground on my last property and they took over. I mean, it's okay. It was a good sized property, but if you don't want them to take over your garden in different ways, you should put them in some kind of contained situation. So these are the raspberries I planted. This one is called Lantham. And then these are pansies. And I'm not sure if you can tell on the camera, but the foliage is massive. One thing I did when I planted both the raspberries and the pansies is I loaded this container up with kelp meal. It is such a great fertilizer. And I think the plants are really starting to take effect from that kelp meal. They are so lush. I'll show you one over here. Right here we've got another lush looking pansy. There's my peas at the back, climbing that branch. I'm going to show you some of my sunflowers. I planted a bunch of random, different size, different varieties of sunflowers in this flower garden, and we have sprouts. So here are some of the little sunflowers I planted from seed. All different varieties. I've got 6 or 7 sprouts here. So that is so exciting. And I'm going to show you some of the sunflowers I grew in milk jugs. And yesterday I was out doing a little transplanting and I have a few of them in the ground already. They're doing pretty good, although I have to say I didn't water them yet, so we're gonna see if they're still doing okay. So this is one I planted yesterday from a milk jug, and it is doing pretty well. It needs some water, but overall looking pretty good. And there are more. This here is a little rock rose shrub putting on so much new growth. My roses are on fire with growth. No rosebuds yet, but it's still pretty early given that it's only, what are we, April the 27th or 8th today. One little strawberry plant. I suspect that these guys are pollinated. And there is unaged horse manure under this whole mulched bed as a fertilizer. This is my multi-variety pear tree, and it had about 50 flowers. I think a lot of them, I'm hoping, got pollinated because a lot of them have sort of finished the blooming cycle already. So fingers crossed that these guys give me some pears. However, I noticed a little problem with the tree, and I'm not super thrilled about it. Don't know for sure what it is. Some kind of insect. And I'm hesitant to get rid of the problem. I'm going to show you because I don't know if there's a possibility it's ladybugs. If it's ladybugs, I do not want to get rid of it. They're eggs. Check it out. I have had ladybugs on my last garden. I've had plum trees and other trees that get like basically the ladybugs mate in the trees and lay eggs. And I'm not certain if this is something super invasive here. I don't know if I can show you. All of the camera's not focusing very well, but all of those little, see if I can focus better. Those little round, it's the wind too. Wind is making it challenging. Little round dots on the leaves. Oh, terrible focus. They're eggs, and there's hundreds, if not thousands of them. I suspect it's something invasive, but if there's any chance those are ladybugs, I do not want to kill them. I love ladybugs so much, and I have seen several ladybugs on this property. I've seen them in the grass, I've seen them on my patio, and I'm a total ladybug person, so I don't want to take any risk of killing the ladybugs. So I'm not going to do anything to those eggs. I might regret this. They could be spiders, they could be aphids. Girl, I don't know. There could be so many different bugs, but I'm actually going to leave them for now. And we have to get back to some watering. I'll put you back on the tripod for a minute or two or longer so I can actually do more watering. And in case you're wondering what this beautiful yellow flower is, this is a wallflower, and it is so vibrant. This is perennial. Google ladybug eggs. Maybe you can see what they look like. I will Google them. Not right now, because I don't want to upset the live stream, but I'll Google them later. I have seen them before, but when I've taken pictures of them, I haven't done that yet with this. So we'll see. I'm not sure what they are, but time will tell. This is such a vibrant wallflower, and they smell divine. Highly recommend this perennial for the Vancouver Island climate. Probably good in other areas too. I'm just gonna turn it around and do a little bit of watering while the live stream is going. Maybe I can zoom in and you can see the plants a little bit better. Maybe not. I don't know how this works. Just lowering the camera down on the tripod a little bit. So I'm going to show you as we go, see if I can take the camera with me and the watering hose, some of the plants. Can you see? What can you see in the camera? Oh, you're seeing the log. See if I lower you down a little bit more. This right here is a mystery plant that came with the property, and I suspect it's a peony. What do you guys think based on the foliage? I've never grown peonies before, but to me, I think this is some kind of peony. I'm so excited to have it. I don't know if it's perennial peony or a tree. I suspect perennial, but I don't really know. So I'm really excited to see what it turns into. I will move the camera a little bit, give you guys another angle. So we're gonna go into this back corner and check out the action of what's happening here. This is one of my Desert King fig trees. If you've been around this channel for a while, you remember at my old property, I had 2 Desert King figs and they were awesome producers. This tree was planted in November of last year, and check it out. I believe it already has at least 1 fig. There could be more, but this is the first one that is starting to form. Actually, no, there's 2. I correct myself. 2 at least. And the leaves are just starting to leaf out, so that is so exciting. And in this corner, we have a little shrub. This is something called hebe. Beautiful evergreen foliage. Yeah, I think it probably is a peony. I'm so excited to see the flowers. I love the texture of these hebe leaves. They're so smooth and the color is just so lovely. It's like shades of pink and kind of an olive green with a little bit of almost like an emerald green. It's so beautiful. The camera doesn't fully capture the colors, but really love the color. And in this corner, I put the peas that I showed you, I think in the last garden tour Saturday. I added these little trellises. These were from my previous garden. I found them in my garden shed and decided they needed to come out of hiding and be put to good use. So that is where they are. They're going to trellis these peas. And right here we have some gladioli coming out. I think I planted, I'm gonna say at least 30 of them along this border here, and they're just starting to come out of the ground. And these are all rose cuttings from my last property, and I don't even know what they are. I brought a bunch of roses cuttings from my last garden, and I have no idea which ones survived. So it's going to be a big surprise when they start growing and blooming what they actually are. And here's another version of hebe. If you're unfamiliar with this shrub, it comes in many different textures of foliage and flowers. This one gets purple spiky flowers. Cannot wait to see it bloom. And here is a second Desert King fig tree. And this one might, oh, the camera doesn't want to focus. It might be getting figs. If I can get the camera to focus. Come on, camera. You have a job to do. Well, it's sort of focused. I think that little stub right here is the beginning of another fig. And this one isn't quite as leafed out as the other one, but it's on its merry way to leafing out. And down here we have mermaid lavender. I did a whole video about this and the seaside daisies. They're putting on lots of new growth. I just love springtime and all the life that comes out of the earth. It's just such a magical time of the year. More roses. These are original to the property and I think they're wild roses. They're everywhere on this property. More peas. I'm trying to train these to climb up my fruit trees. And I think it's gonna work. I have a feeling it's gonna be really neat to see when they're in full force and they're blooming. I think it's gonna look really cool. So that's the overall picture of this backyard flower garden. I should probably move my hose at this point. Water something else. We're gonna take a journey over this way. This is my little semicircle of grass. There isn't a lot of grass in this garden, just a little bit. And I'm trying to just patch it up and make it look a little bit prettier. And this is a California lilac. This is original to the property, one of the few original items. And it's got lots of buds on it. I think these might be flower buds already. Kind of early in the season, but it might actually bloom earlier than expected, so that's exciting. This is a super drought tolerant shrub if you're unfamiliar with California lilacs. They have beautiful purpley blue flowers, evergreen on Vancouver Island, and the bees go bananas over this shrub. And here we have a dwarf burning bush just starting to leaf out. Some roses at the back. A few of my little seaside garden decor pieces. This is a Pyrus bush that is pretty much in full bloom now. I love this vibrant foliage mixed with the bloom. What a striking combination. And here we have a fuchsia. This was clearance last fall and it is just starting to put on new growth. Cannot wait to see the flowers. And this is a mystery plant that I got from the clearance section in the fall. Starting to put on some new growth. If you know what this is called or you think you know, let me know in the comments because I am really curious what kind of shrub this is. Hydrangea and a blueberry bush that is about to bloom. We're going to come back this way. Maybe we'll explore the vegetable garden a little bit. So this, just going to turn my water down a little for a little while. I have lots of watering to do still. This is a bed that really doesn't have anything directly planted in it yet, but I have some potatoes that I really need to get planted. I bought them almost 2 months ago for that particular spot. Let's see if I can show you. Where did I put them? This is my little seed collection. One of my seed collections. I've got a few. And here are the potatoes, and you can see already they've sprouted in the bag. We really need to get these growing. Hopefully I didn't wait too long. And I also have this variety here, Australian Crescent. Those look delicious. And they have sprouted too, so hopefully they're still good to plant. Gotta get going on that. And this over here is my vegetable garden area. There are 3 boxes. This is what I'm calling my salad bar. This is rainbow Swiss chard, so delicious. These are perennial on Vancouver Island, so plant them once and you shouldn't have to plant them again. They survive the winter and they taste even better in the cold weather. pretty darn delicious, and the color is so outstanding. And this is some kind of a mountain spinach I found this season at one of the nurseries. I can't even remember which one. And it is like shades of purple and pink. So beautiful. So far the birds have not touched it, so that is so... I'm so thankful for that, because I really didn't want the birds to eat these. And here is my rosemary plant going absolutely bananas with flowers. And I'm going to show you something I haven't shown you guys yet. I was going to show you in a pre-recorded garden tour Saturday, but again, I forgot it was Saturday today, so I never made a video. Let's turn the camera around. And hopefully I'm not disturbing anyone when I do this. Oh shit. This is a bee house, and it came with my property. And I should make a YouTube shorts, because I have actually been filming this little house. It's the strangest little house, because for the longest time when I've been out in the garden, there's never been anything happening in this house. Like, there's no action. I didn't know if anyone lived here or if this was like a vacant property in my backyard garden. And lo and behold, one day I was in these little vegetable gardens beside me, and all of a sudden, tons of insects came out of here. And at first, I wasn't so sure they were bees. I was a little bit surprised. They didn't look like a typical bee to me. They almost looked like a black fly. And I was like, did a fly take over this bee house? Like, what is going on? I will probably turn my video clips into YouTube shorts. But I do actually work with a girl who is a beekeeper, so I decided to show her some of my videos. And she thinks there's some kind of a mason bee. There are many hundreds of different types of bees out there, so most likely that is what they are. However, ever since that one day when I filmed all these insects, which are probably mason bees of some variety, come out of this house, they haven't been back. Like, I don't know if they were in there all winter and that was their exit, like their grand entrance into the garden, into springtime. Or do they come in here late at night? Are they in here already and I don't see them? I really don't know. But that was one of the little things I was going to show you on a pre-recorded garden tour Saturday, but we never got to that today. I'll make some shorts though, so you can see what's happening. But it's kind of interesting. I was fascinated by those insects. So we have another thing to show you around this garden bed. I'm going to call this a mystery item that I discovered in this garden. And I don't know what it is or what it's for or why it's here. And I'm hoping somebody in the audience has a little insight into this item. Let's see if I can put the camera down for a second. You're going on top of my compost bin for a minute because I didn't bring the tripod this direction. Let's see if you're going to stay. Okay. This. Can somebody please tell me what the heck is this? On first glance, what it looks like is a big piece of metal, and it's got all these, like, I don't know if the camera's picking it up. There's like grooves. Oh, hey CR, thank you so much. I don't know if you know much about gardening tools, or I have no idea. Maybe this isn't a garden tool. Maybe this is some other, you could come up with a lot of interesting, let's say, theories about what this thing is, because I don't know what it is, and it is certainly made me think of many things. It's metal. It appears to be rusty. It has a serrated edge at the top, and at the I'm holding on to it by some kind of a handle, which I'm not even really sure is a handle. I'll turn over the back side. It's got some kind of a metal piece on the a metal piece on the top up here. Then there's some kind of supporting metal with some screws. And then we've got whatever this thing is at the bottom. which I think is a handle, but begs the question, what the heck is this? Like, what is it? Does anyone have any ideas? I don't know. I am so fascinated. It is quite heavy, actually. I mean, I can lift it, but I'm gonna say it's like probably 8 to 10 pounds, maybe? I don't know. It's been fascinating me since I moved in. I'm like, what do I do with it? Is it valuable? Probably not. Is it a piece of junk? Is this some kind of old artifact from like old gardening, like in the 1800s? I was shocked to learn that my neighborhood, I can't remember if this was during buying the house or afterwards, one of the things I was doing or needed to do with this property led me down this rabbit hole of the history of this neighborhood was actually constructed in the 1700s or the 1800s. Like, I didn't know my city was around in that time. And I was like, holy crap. So I'm like, is this something super duper old? Probably not, but you never know. I'm just so fascinated by what the heck this is. Forget what I said, shrugs. I don't know what you said, but yeah, I don't know. I guess you guys don't know either, but maybe I should make a YouTube shorts because maybe the greater YouTube world will have some idea about what the heck this thing is. Because I don't know, and I really want to know. I'm like, do I keep it? Is this like some weird seed sorting device for like spacing your seeds out? Is this some kind of weapon of mass destruction? I don't really know what the heck this is. I wish I did. I wish I had some insight into this because maybe I could use it for something really cool, but I don't know. Like, to me, it's giving me weapon garden vibes, but I really don't know what the heck it is. So that's one of my garden mysteries that the last people left me to figure out on my own. They didn't leave any clues other than it was in the garden. So yeah, wasn't too far from the bee house. So is this related to the bee house? I don't know. But it certainly creates more questions than answers. So I'm going to show you a little bit more of my flower vegetable garden. What's going on in these boxes. Here, what I was going to put in my recorded video and started making for Garden Tour Saturday before I lost track of the time was that this composter has shocked the heck out of me. So what I was doing with it, actually, when I was digging up all of those grassy areas, a lot of the grass ended up here, and then just a small amount, but it was much bigger, about 3/4 of the bin was full of this grass that was dug out for flower beds. And I really thought I had the ratio of brown to green to moisture, all those things that you're supposed to look at when you compost. I thought my ratio was really far off, and I had really, could use a swear word, but we're not going to swear on YouTube, I had really messed up the situation. And boy, was I wrong, because the one thing I did do, I must say, is I went out and I bought just one container of something called Rot It, because I thought, early on, I thought I messed up the ratio, this is never going to rot, and I'm going to have a massive amount of work I created for myself with this unbalanced compost. I did put just a little bit of Rot It in here. If you're unfamiliar with it, it's an organic compound that helps break down compostable material. And I put most of it into here. It was a pretty small container. And I didn't expect this to do much. However, I was so wrong because this was like 3/4, oh, turn the camera, 3/4 to full, about up to here, of this material. And once I started digging around in it, I took out all of the soil you see in all of these grow bags. They're all pretty full, like 3/4 full of soil. And then not only did I take that out, I started putting it into these vegetable boxes because I suspect this has really poor water retention in this soil. This was original on the property. Just from my early observations, I think the watering here is going to be not so ideal. So I'm going to need to mulch and add organic matter. But I was shocked that that much soil came out of here when I thought the ratio was so off. So that I give so much credit to the worms. Like, I was I'm not going to admit, when I was out scraping away at the grass to make flower beds, I was capturing the worms that came out of the ground and putting them into my compost bin to add extra population into the compost bin. And then I'm sure some worms naturally found their way into the bin, because this is a bottomless compost bin. You can't tell, but it actually is bottomless. So they would come up from the earth. But I was pretty darn surprised at how well those worms were working their magic. Maybe the tool is for scraping. Possible, but what do you think they would scrape? Like the ground or something else? I'm going to look at the tool again. But that is an interesting possibility. I mean, let's look at it over here. This potentially maybe for scraping, but given that this thing weighs, I'm going to say 8 to 10 pounds. I'm not super good with weight, but that would be my guess. I don't know. I feel like it would be kind of heavy to use as a scraper. But maybe it is possible, because then it's got like this and this too. So I don't know. It's super interesting. From a machine to pull. Oh, I think you could be onto something, because look up there. Oh, hold on. That to me looks like not a trailer, but like you could attach it to something. That is super interesting. I think your theory is like, there's something coming of this theory. Very fascinating. Now I'm going to go down the rabbit hole tonight and search for, what should I search for? Some kind of, I don't want to say farm. Well, maybe it is farm. Like some kind of farm, like from the 1800s, like pulling, like you attach it to some kind of, I want to say trolley. Trolley is not the right word. There's another cart, maybe like a cart. I don't know if we're talking like down the horse-drawn carriage days, like horse pulling farm work. I don't know. I don't know how far down this rabbit hole I should go, but I am so curious what the heck this is. Interesting tool. Yes, Howie. Do you have insight? Because CR got me down this rabbit hole thinking that this might be some kind of a pulling, scraping device from like a, something that you would scrape the earth, but like you pull it. Like maybe this is some kind of machine or something else. I don't know what it is, but I'm so fascinated. Right here. I showed earlier in the live stream, but because you weren't here, I'll just give you a quick little background on what the backside looks like. It's wood and it's metal, and it's got this piece at the top that looks like you would attach to something. It's quite heavy. I'm going to say 8 to 10 pounds. And it's all rusted metal on the front. And it was sitting not too far from my bee house when I bought the property. You missed seeing the bee house, but I'm super curious what the heck this thing is. And then my other question is like, do I keep this thing? I'm on a massive decluttering. I don't like clutter. I had a little incident in my house, inside the house, totally unrelated to the garden. But this just goes to show where I left a pile of clutter too long, and there were some consequences that could have been very serious from this pile of clutter that I left. So I'm trying really hard to declutter the house, the garden, the garage, the shed. So if this is clutter, I need to get rid of it. But if this is like something I should hold on to, maybe use it, maybe, who knows, maybe this thing has some historical value, maybe I should keep it for that reason. I will note that this neighborhood, as I said earlier, was built in the 17 or 1800s, and there is a farm. Like, I live in suburbia, but there's a freaking sheep farm not too far away. Like, we're not even talking 2 blocks away. We're talking much closer. And that makes me wonder if this property at some point could have been in any way related to farmland too. I don't know, but I am fascinated by the possibility. For making rose in the garden, I said rose earlier, but retracted it. Oh, hold on, maybe. But if this was for rose, I get this. Like, that makes sense. But why would we have a more jagged, like almost like a cutting edge here versus these are more, I mean, this is kind of cutting edge too, but why the difference here? That's what I'm wondering. But I like where you're going with this. I mean, that could certainly be the case. I don't know. It's a mystery, but I like where this is headed. I might have to do some Googling myself and go down that rabbit hole and maybe see if I can find anything for the next garden video, because I want to know, what do I do with this thing? I don't think I would have the machinery to attach it to something. Like, I can attach this to my car. I couldn't ride my car around this garden. I'd need like some kind of a, I don't even know what I would need. It's a funny little concept to think about anyways. So that was the mystery that's been in my garden, and I'll go and show you the bee house one more time. We won't dwell on that, but that's the bee house. And this was definitely a pollinator garden because they made these little signs that say bee friendly, which I think are super cute. And then there's this sign, oops, that says garden, which is nice too. It kind of keeps falling over. So, whoops, this is a Spanish lavender. If you've never seen a giant Spanish lavender, I'm going to show you. This thing is incredible. It is absolutely massive. Like, I'm going to turn the camera around, see if we can take a selfie together. Like, it is, if I go next to it, well, getting dirt in my shoes, probably not the best idea, but I'm going to estimate this thing is like 3 feet tall, maybe taller. I'm 5'4", and it goes like, but it's in the raised bed, so it's not an accurate comparison, but it goes past my hips. Kind of a massive little massive lavender. And it's got lots of new growth on it. Shallow tilling. I like that. You could be onto something there. This is a sage plant. Lots of new growth on it. I have not been eating this, but I probably should. I've never really come across what things you should put sage into when you're cooking. I've just never really used sage very much. I use rosemary all the time. This beautiful rosemary bush is in many of my dishes, but I've never touched the sage yet. So yeah, I guess I should look for some recipes or something to use sage with. And over here, oh, I didn't show you this yet. Well, there's the garlic. Could be doing better, but it's not doing bad. We're gonna check out this flower right here. It is so lush. I'm not certain what this is, but I think it might be a tick seed flower. Now, I know someone who might know the answer to this. Suffolk Susie in New York. She has lots of tick seed flowers in her garden. I had what I thought was a tick seed on my last garden that I grew from seed, but it wasn't lush like this. And I'm not certain if this is a tick seed or if there's different types of tick seed flowers. If you don't know what that is, they get these vibrant daisy-like yellow flowers that are super beautiful in the summertime. If it's not tick seed, then what is this plant? It is so beautiful and so lush and so well rooted. I could never dig it out of the ground when I tried. So I am super curious. And on that note, as much as I love live streaming, I have not watered my garden properly. I have barely watered it, and it is getting a little late. So I think I have to say goodbye to all you lovely people. Have a lovely evening. And hopefully I don't forget to make another garden tour Saturday next week. Sometimes the time just goes by and you don't even really know what's happening. So have a lovely day, evening, or night wherever you are, and we will see you soon. Bye-bye.